What's up, everybody? This is Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Bears playoff picture coming off that loss to Green Bay. Gonna outline where things sit now, what the Bears need to do to win the NFC North, but also to make sure they're in good position to at least become a wild card team when this thing is done at the end of Week 18. Still a month to go, 4 weeks left. The Bears are currently the number 7 seed. Now, it's a little misleading because if they win this week and the Packers lose, they're back in the 2 seed. So it's very, very nip and tuck among the 3 wild card spots and really with the 1 and 2 seed in the NFC as well. Obviously, that 3rd and 4 seed kind of slipping with Philadelphia not playing well, and Tampa and Carolina just kind of in a pillow fight. But the Bears still have some work to be done. Have some work to do, I should say, to make the playoffs and to win the NFC North. The Bears are just a half game back of Green Bay. They'll get that rematch next week. They still play Detroit again, who's still lurking. They're definitely not dead. If Detroit were to win out, they could certainly still win the NFC North. Minnesota mathematically alive in the NFC playoff picture, but they actually cannot win the division. Even if they were to win out, Green Bay lost out, they would still finish behind the Packers. Now you look at the Bears' remaining schedule. Obviously, we've talked about it all week. We'll continue to do so. Got to lock in on the Browns. You cannot afford to lose this game. Period, point blank, end of story. You lose the Browns at home, you're putting yourself in a bad spot. So got to beat the Browns, and if you do, then got a good chance to go beat Green Bay and retake first place in the division. And if you do those 2 things and split the final 2, pretty good chance you're going to win the NFC North. The Bears control their destiny in the North and all the way to the number 2 seed. And if the Rams were to simply lose one more game, and Seattle, by the way, they would also control their destiny to the number 1 seed. So most things that the Bears want to accomplish are very much in their control. Got to take it one play, one day, 1 week at a time. Who do you guys think wins the NFC North? Type CHI for the Bears, FGB for the Packers, or DET for the Lions. Bears and Packers a notch ahead of Detroit right now in the standings. What say you? Let us know in the comment section below. Okay, so the New York Times via The Athletic, kind of in combination, they have this little NFL playoff picture predictor, kind of throws some percentages out there via their simulations. And right now they have the Bears at a 70% chance to make the playoffs, which feels a little low, but that's just how good the NFC is, and the Bears have a tough remaining schedule after this Cleveland game. 26% chance to win the NFC North with a 4% chance to also get the number 1 seed. And then if they were to beat the Browns this week, jumps up to 77%. So you win this week and then win one more game, you're pretty much in the playoffs. That's what this playoff simulation says as well. If you go 2-2, 93% chance or better to at least make the postseason. So there is a minuscule world where an 11-win Bears team could be left out of the postseason, but a lot would have to go wrong. So you go at least 2-2 over your final 4, you should be dancing in the postseason. Now, we want to do better than that. We want to win the NFC North. So let's take a look at the path to winning the NFC North with 4 games remaining. The easiest one is you just went out and you win the division, because you're a half game behind the Packers, but you get a rematch with them. So if you beat them and win the rest of your games, no issue. You're a game ahead of Detroit. Obviously, you beat them. They're knocked out of the way as well. So if the Bears were to win their final 4 games, nothing else matters. That's what control your destiny means. It means if you win out, you win the division. So if they're able to do that, not only would they win the North, they would also guarantee themselves at least the number 2 seed and then potentially the number 1 seed. They don't control their destiny to the number 1 seed, but they do control it to the number 2 seed because they're a game ahead of Philadelphia. They have the tiebreaker over Philadelphia, and then the 4 seed Tampa, or if it ends up being Carolina, they're 2 games clear there. So obviously if you were to win out, they wouldn't be an issue either. Okay, 3-1 scenario. If the Bears go 3-1 and the Packers lose twice and Detroit loses once, the Bears would also make the playoffs in that scenario. And remember, you play the Packers and the Lions. So if among your 3 wins, one of them is against Detroit, then they're out of the mix. And then obviously if another one of your 3 wins is against the Packers, you would only need Green Bay to lose one other game. Well, let's look at the remaining schedules of Green Bay and Detroit here. At Denver this week for the Packers. So again, in a 3-1 scenario, if they were to just lose to Denver this week, and then you beat Green Bay next week as well, you split your final 2. Assuming you beat the Browns, you're in a good position. Packers also have the Ravens. We'll see if they can play a little bit better. And then at Minnesota, who could be looking to play spoiler in Week 18. The Lions go to the Rams this week. Would just be nice if the Rams beat them. Now, that would hurt your number 1 seed chances, but I would rather knock Detroit down a peg in both the division and wild card picture. Then the Steelers come to Detroit. Then they go to Minnesota on Christmas. And then, of course, Detroit comes to Chicago to wrap up the season. So, again, just to kind of simplify it, if the Bears go 3-1, really the path is you need 2 of those 3 wins to be against the Packers and the Lions, right? You split your final 2 against the 49ers and Browns. That means if the Packers lose to the Broncos, Ravens, or Vikings, you are in because the Lions would have already lost that game to you head-to-head. Okay, 2-2 scenarios. These are longer shots, obviously, but there is a possibility. If you were to go 2-2, Green Bay would have to lose 3 times, really twice outside of the head-to-head coming up next week. And then Detroit would have to lose 2 times, including to the Bears directly head-to-head. So again, if you're going to go 2-2, you have to beat your 2 division games. Those have to be your 2 wins. So you would beat the Packers and Lions, lose to the 49ers and Browns this week, which don't want to be sweating out a scenario where you lose the Browns this week. But in that scenario, Green Bay would have to lose 2 of 3 to Denver, Baltimore, Minnesota. Not impossible, although unlikely. Detroit would have to lose 1 of 3 to the Rams, Steelers, or Vikings. That is very possible. I think the Rams probably beat the Lions this week, but that one is still a possibility. I think 2-2, good chance you're at least finishing ahead of the Lions, but the Packers, that one's probably a bit more of a long shot. I think it's pretty simple. You go 3-1, you're probably winning the NFC North unless the 1 loss is to Green Bay. You go 3-1 with one of those 3 wins being against the Packers, really good chance of winning the North. Now, it's not guaranteed. You could beat the Packers, lose one other game. If Green Bay wins all of its other games except for next week against Chicago, they would finish a half game ahead of the Bears due to that tie. But based on all the different scenarios that can play out in the games remaining, 3-1, very, very good chance you win this division. All right, subscribe to the channel. We're bringing you free and daily Bears content during this playoff push, and even when that's over, even when the season comes to an end, hopefully not until February, that'd be fun, we'll have daily content then as well. We don't ever stop. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. We are chasing 145,000 subscribers. Help us get there by subscribing. Okay, coming up, we're going to analyze kind of the wild card picture when it comes to the Bears and the NFC as a whole. But I do have to tell you guys about our awesome sponsor first. That is Ethos. Fast and easy life insurance. Life insurance is one of the most important investments you can make in your family. Now with Ethos, you can get covered and protected in minutes with rates as low as $2 per day, billed monthly. You can also get up to $3 million in coverage. As a husband and father, having life insurance is absolutely vital, and it's something I don't take for granted. Ethos is revolutionizing the insurance industry with a 100% online process and can provide protection for you and your loved ones. Ethos is an online platform that makes getting life insurance fast and easy to protect your family's future in minutes, not months. With Ethos, you can get life insurance in as little as 10 minutes. Ethos has no medical exams, just a few easy health questions online. You can get same-day coverage without ever leaving your house. Ethos is a trustworthy company that disrupts the traditional life insurance industry. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos in minutes. Get up to $3 million in coverage in as little as 10 minutes at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That is ethos.com/NFL Daily. Application times may vary, rates may vary. That link is in the comments for you guys to get a free quote and get started today. Okay, let's revisit the playoff picture. So again, you win, Packers lose, you're back in the 2 seed. You went out, you're guaranteed the 2 seed, all that stuff. We've explored all of that. And again, if they just win the division, they're going to get the 1 or the 2 seed because Philadelphia and Tampa just aren't going to be close enough. Because if you win the division, that means you've won at least 3 games, and you have the tiebreaker over Philly, and Tampa and Carolina can't catch you. So That's out of the way. We know that. Okay, let's kind of look at some wild card scenarios while also tying in number 1 seed talk in here as well, because the Rams and Seahawks are also in the mix for not only the 1 seed but potentially the wild card, because they're both 10-3, and the way the NFL playoffs work is if you don't win your division, the best you can be is the 5 seed as a wild card team. Well, the Rams have a big one this week, Lions at home, and then obviously that Week 16 matchup against the Seahawks, at the Falcons, and then Cardinals at home. So I think pretty safe to say if the Rams win the next 2 weeks, they're going to get the number 1 seed. They're not losing to Atlanta. They're not losing to Arizona. So the next 2 weeks are huge. Obviously, Seahawks got the Colts this week, and I guess Phillip Rivers. I mean, that's going to be something. Then that huge Thursday night game at Carolina, at San Francisco. So it's definitely a little tougher down the stretch for Seattle, but they do get the Rams at home. And, you know, is Phil Rivers going to turn back the clock? That seems like a long shot. Rams, Seahawks Thursday night. It feels like that'll determine the West. Now, maybe if, you know, Seattle could slip elsewhere, that's certainly a possibility. 49ers in Week 18 is on the table. They could certainly lose that. San Francisco's still lurking to win this division as well. Let's look at their remaining schedule. They get the Titans this week. That's going to be a win. At the Colts, again, we'll see what this Rivers situation looks like. Bears, we'll talk about the importance of that here. And then Seahawks in Week 18. So San Francisco is obviously pushing for a playoff berth, but also potentially an NFC West championship if they get some help. From a Bears perspective, just talking wild card, let's say you beat the Browns this week. Even if you lost to Green Bay and to Detroit Week 18, if you beat the 49ers, that likely at least locks you into a wild card berth, because you're going to be in a position to at least own that tiebreaker, because the 49ers and the Bears have the same record. So if you go 2-2 and you beat the Niners, they would have to win their remaining 3 games, and they still have Seattle Week 18. They have to go to Indy, so it's not exactly a guarantee. So you beat that, win that game in the Bay, you're in great position to at least earn a wild card berth. Okay, let's look at the NFC South situation. Tampa, Carolina, each have games they should win this week, although Tampa just lost to the Saints. Carolina lost to the Saints earlier this year. Tampa plays Atlanta at home on Thursday. Carolina goes to New Orleans, who's kind of been playing spoiler. And then, of course, they play each other twice, Week 16, Week 18. In between, Bucks go to Miami. That is not going to be easy. Carolina hosts Seattle. That's not going to be easy. It's going to be fascinating to see this play out. From a wild card picture, I don't see either of those teams earning a wild card berth, because they play each other. So if one team wins out and sweeps the other, that means the other one has at least 8 losses. Even if they split, that's going to be 7 losses at minimum. I don't think 10-7 is getting you into the playoffs in the NFC, just playing the math and the scenario. So I think the NFC South only gets 1 team. So that's really nothing the Bears have to worry about. Now, the Bears could be the 5 seed or the 6. Let's say the NFC South catches Philadelphia for the 3 seed. So you could play Tampa or even Carolina in the first round if you're the 5 or 6 seed. But in terms of just positioning to make the playoffs, Carolina and Tampa aren't really teams you need to worry about, because one's going to win the division and likely be the 4 seed, and the other one is almost certainly going to be out. So there you have it. Where will the Bears end up? Will they win the division? Type 1, if you think they win the NFC North. How about being a wild card team? Type 2, that's what the math tells us is most likely, being a wild card team. Or miss the playoffs entirely. Type 3, I feel good about this team's chances making the playoffs. You win the next 2. You beat Cleveland and Green Bay. Really good shot of winning the division. So that's still where I'm holding out hope. You guys let me know. 1 for division champs, 2 for wild card, 3 for miss the playoffs entirely. My name is Harrison Graham. First things first, beat the Browns on Sunday. We'll have a preview of that matchup, so stay tuned for that. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you soon.